welcome to BWI, and today, as you can already see, I'm bringing to you the Raw review and results here tonight. So let's just go ahead and get started. I gotta say, it was a tad bit better than last week, but it still was pretty bad to say the least. Anyways, it started off with Raw started off with Lana and Rusev in the ring. They were kind of just demanding that they, wanted Roman Reigns to go out there and apologize for what happened last week with Lana getting thrown into the cake. Needless to say that it ended up having Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon coming out and stopping all of that because apparently, Rusev was literally going to detain Raw and make sure that Raw didn't happen, So that being said, yeah, that's how Raw started off, and then it ended up having Roman come out and then trash talking, and then the two of them end up hating on each other as they always do. Point is that this opening segment was not that interesting, but it did end up having an announcement for later on in the night, the main event, which was Rusev versus Roman Reigns, to defend Lana's honor. Gotta say, after seeing the match though, I'm kind of excited for SummerSlam. Hopefully they don't, they add some more stuff to their SummerSlam match. The only thing I don't like is that Roman Reigns' spear, it's not that great, and he needs a new finisher. But anyways, moving on to that was the beginning. Moving on to the next part of the night, which was a match between Sheamus and Sami Zayn, and Cesaro was on commentary. So basically Cesaro talking about the whole thing with last week and all of that. And when asked about if he would join SmackDown, he said no because he's a team player for Raw. So I'm guessing that that was just the words of Stephanie McMahon and whoever wrote that crap, because we all know Cesaro doesn't want to be on Raw. But anyways, continuing with that, the match was Sami Zayn and Sheamus. Was really so much of a great match. But anyways, it ended up having Sami Zayn win after Cesaro returns the favor and distracts Sheamus with the pretty wicked Helluva Kick that would proceed after the distraction. It was pretty cool, Anyways, though, that was that for that match. Of course, they're hyping up some Sheamus versus Cesaro match, probably at SummerSlam. Apparently, it's going to be a 2-hour kickoff show, so they're going to need a lot of matches to fill that card up. Anyways, though, after that, we go to a backstage segment between Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Tom, which was pretty hilarious. They were cutting promos on Enzo and Cass, and they were calling Tom everything but his name. They were calling him James, Tim, I don't know what other name was that they used. They used, I don't know, but it was a pretty entertaining a promo segment. You guys should probably go check it out. Yeah, and it would hype up the match for later on in the evening, which was going to be Kevin Owens versus Big Cass. More on that later. But after that proceeded the New Day versus the Dudley Boys, and of course, and they were, it was a match, and we had to have yet another promo from Dr. Luke Gallows and Dr. Carl Anderson to taunt the New Day, about Big E's injury, the ring post-itis. Another entertaining little promo before the match. After, though, of course the New Day won with the miscommunication between the Dudleys. After the match, though, Kofi and Xavier got the mic and started taunting Gallows and Anderson. Yet they were after another big vignette on the screen. Then we see we go to commercial, and after that we come back, and Seth Rollins is looking for Finn Balor. So before that, and Raw actually started off with Seth looking for Finn, challenging, calling out the Demon King. So yeah, then we come back and we see Seth, looking for him, and then he walks up on Neville, and Neville's telling Rollins, it's like you're not ready for the demon, and I faced the demon, it's not recommendable. So yeah. Then after that though, we get another Nia Jax match, with another local competitor. This time her name was Rachel Levy. Of course, Nia won that, but Byron interviews the competitor, and she was confident. She sounded like she was gonna win, but she's very very small, and you're facing Nia Jax. Anyways, there was this kind of a big spot. Well, the big spot of the match. It's a squash match. All of it's supposed to be a big spot. It's not even supposed to be that interesting. But anyways, they traded in Braun segment for Nia, so anyways, there was a spot where Nia got the girl hung up on the ropes and pushes her. The girl sold it really well. It looked like she was knocked out, and Nia even said she's dead, counter out. But yeah, that was it for that. Of course, they're trying to build Nia Jax up. Hopefully, I'm curious as to see who they're gonna pair her up with, because there's not a lot of women who compare to Nia on the roster, but more on that later. Maybe I should make a video on that. But anyways. Yeah, Nia Jax is I'm kind of curious to see, but she's being built up. After that, we come back to see Brock Lesnar in the ring. After a commercial break, we go back and we see Brock Lesnar, and of course, they're hyping up the whole match and all that with Heyman on the mic and stuff. And then guess whose music comes on? Heath Slater's music hits. And of course, he's doing what he does best. And Heyman's trying to laugh it off. Saying no, you don't want none of this, because Heath is trying to challenge Brock, and eventually it ends up being that Lesnar starts feeling for Slater, because he has kids and all of that. But then he sidesteps him by saying he doesn't give a about his kids, and the crowd's going crazy, and like Lesnar's telling him, you have two options. You can get out of here, and or I can kick your ass. And it ends up being the second one, when he thinks that he's big enough and strong enough to take out Brock Lesnar himself. Pretty stupid by Heath Slater, but again, showing why he's an entertaining ass dude. Anyways, after that, we still get Heyman hyping up Lesnar a bit more before he does his Brock Lesnar, that thing. I'm not gonna do it because I'm not good at it. But after that, of course, another commercial break, and we get Kevin Owens versus Big Cass. Of course, Enzo Amore and Big Cass always come out to their big, their pop and to their entrance, with the mic and all that crap, calling them soft, of course, like always. Cutting also promos of SummerSlam. Anyways, though, it was a match, it was just a match. It was entertaining, with Jericho getting involved, and so Big Cass ended up being the winner. And yeah, after the match, Jericho and Owens were attacking, they attacked Cass, and ended up being that they ended up walking on top, with Chris Jericho hitting a code breaker in the ring on Big Cass. Anyways, though, we get an interview with Tom Phillips with Roman Reigns backstage, and Roman's talking about, like, I'm gonna represent my bloodline, and I'm gonna whoop Rusev's ass and all of that, as Reigns does best. And then Rusev comes back from behind him, and they get into a little backstage brawl. And this is what I'm talking about when like, Roman is the next Cena, because the guy is getting attacked on metal and thrown in the backstage, and already, it's just... Anyways, I'll get into that. But yeah, he's tossing him around, and then, of course, they get it separated. And we come back to seeing the Shining Stars versus the Primetime Players. Yes, both Primetime Players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Apparently, they were back together for a little bit, with Bob Backlund convincing Titus and... No, well, Darren convinced Bob to manage both Titus and Darren on the pre-show. And they had a match. Nothing too big here, except Titus is continuing his heel character, because after a miscommunication, Titus said, you know what, I'm out, and he attacks Darren with the Clash of Titus, and the Shining Stars ended up getting the win. So yeah. But then after that, we go to a commercial break and we come back with Neville versus Jinder Mahal. Not gonna get so much into this match, not a lot of stuff, but again, Neville did win the match. Then we go backstage to Foley and Stephanie. You know, they were talking and they talked about how Jon Stewart will be the guest at SummerSlam. Don't really care about that. But Rollins walks in and eventually Foley, you know, tells him, you know, why don't you try calling Finn out in the ring? And so then that's what he does as we come back from another break. Seth Rollins is in there cutting a promo on Finn, you know, talking himself up and all that good stuff. And then Finn comes out as Demon Finn, which was awesome. The crowd was going crazy, you know, chanting "Holy" and "This is awesome," you know. And then, of course, it ended up in like a little brawl with Balor, you know, trying to hit the coup de grace after the drop kick to the corner, the shotgun drop kick, but didn't do it because Rollins rolled out. Sorry. And then Finn went on to hitting a dive, pretty wicked dive, pretty badass. Rollins then just kind of left all scared, you know, like, oh no, you know, like just realizing what he'd got himself into. Which this match, that segment really did hype up the match for SummerSlam. I'm really looking forward to it. After that, we go to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Golden Truth. Not too much about this, except they come into the ring as Dr. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. You know, of course, they won the match, but after that, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston end up attacking them from behind. And, you know, there was a spot where Kofi was, Kofi was grabbing the legs of Anderson. No, wait, I can't tell which one's which. But anyways, he was grabbing the legs, and Xavier was gonna smash Francesca on his balls, but you know, it didn't happen. Anyways, though, made the New Day look strong going into SummerSlam. I'm actually excited for the tag team situation right now because it's left unpredictable. Like, you have the New Day looking weak, and you have the club looking strong, but then at the same time have the club looking weak and the New Day looking. So they're doing great booking with the tag team right now, and it's very entertaining. Then we go backstage though with seeing Charlotte warming up and Dana Brooks telling her, she approaches her and she's like, I'm so sorry, and you know, like I'm sorry, and Charlotte ends up like giving her false hope that she's like, oh yeah, no worries, but eventually she ends up turning on her and saying, you know, then why'd you fail me? And you see, when I beat Alicia Fox tonight, just as I will beat, you know, Sasha and all that. So it was Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. And I was kind of happy to see Alicia Fox come back, you know, because I love Foxy. She's awesome, and I think that she needs to be women's champ one of these days. Because I'll make a video of this later on too. Maybe, I don't know. I'm very bad at saying that kind of stuff. But anyways, of course, Charlotte ended up winning the match. But then with Sasha was on commentary, and then, you know, Charlotte's telling her, you know, come over here, and well, she does, and it ends up being Sasha and Charlotte staring each other down. But of course, Dana goes out there and attacks out of nowhere, starts attacking Sasha, and Charlotte applies the figure eight, which actually makes Sasha Banks tap out. And the thing is with that is you gotta think that this tap out when the legs are gonna come into play at SummerSlam. You know, it's gonna be that. So yeah, I mean that was pretty interesting. Anyways, though, a big heel heat by Charlotte. Finally, you know, we got heel heat. Thank you to the crowd at Corpus Christi, Texas, because usually we don't get that from Charlotte. We get the woos and all that, but we got heel heat. We got boos that were chanting Charlotte sucks, and you know that's what happens when you do that to Sasha Banks. So yeah, so Dana Brooke and Charlotte come out on top, you know. Anyways, though, finally we get Roman Reigns versus Rusev. And I gotta say, it was a pretty interesting match, you know. I enjoyed it. It was pretty back and forth, but going to what I said earlier about Roman Reigns being thrown around backstage and looking like the next Cena. See, he wasn't already 100%, and then in the match, Rusev was dominating and ended up having Roman Reigns, you know, kayfabe hurting his shoulder and his arm, and and so he was already injured and on his back and his with his arm, his left arm now. But you know, in the end, it ended up, sorry, having Roman Reigns winning. And my problem is with that he won with the spear. You know, I gotta say, like, you know, not a lot of people can pull off the spear. Roman Reigns isn't really one of those guys that pulls off the spear that great to me, especially because I think it's mainly just booking, the way they book Roman to look like this strong guy. Like, come on, you know, like I'm not too big of a fan of someone that's like that. You know, I want to see some vulnerability to Roman Reigns. I don't just want to see this you know, big monster Samoan guy. You know, I want to see a little bit of vulnerability. But I guess for that, you're gonna have to turn Roman Reigns a bit heel. But you see, that's why I just want to see that, because hopefully he'll probably get a better finisher. We'll see a different moveset. But anyways, that's enough of Roman. The match though, the match is pretty, you know, a bit back and forth. No, not even back and forth. They had Rusev dominating the whole thing, and I was pretty much entertained because I think Rusev and Lana have been great as of late. You know, they've really been able to take all of the attention away from the fact that there was a Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev storyline. You know, like, we no longer look at that anymore. And I think that's the thing with Rusev and Lana. You know, they keep us entertained, whether you want to believe it or not. They're pretty entertaining people, and so yeah, the match to me wasn't that bad of a match. I'm especially since we don't have the Universal Championship right now. The biggest title they have on Raw is the United States Championship. So they're really booking Rusev to be a top champion, which just makes me wonder, you know, how long until he actually wins the Universal Championship in this case. You know, but anyways, yeah, that's the match. Again, the match was entertaining. Raw overall, though, I gotta give it a bit of a downside to it. Better than last week, yes, but still not up there. I'm gonna have to just give it a B for now. It's not living up to the expectation of the first Raw. Not C plus, actually C plus, because it's just not. To me, it's not living up to that first Raw, and it's gonna be hard to top it. So yeah, I think that what they need to do to fix that is start giving Nia Jax and Braun Strowman an actual opponent. Make Charlotte and Sasha the whole thing after the SummerSlam. Let's just have other women thrown into the title picture as well. Maybe have Summer Rae come in and have Charlotte and Dana start building up their feud. As well as maybe have Roman Reigns change his moves up a bit and change himself up. What else? You know, and all of the other quote-unquote jobbers and all of that, start building them up, because it seems that WWE needs to have everybody on the same level. But anyway, yeah, that was it for my Raw review. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Comment down maybe what's your favorite moment from Raw, and until next time,